I thought, one-man show, that's tough. I mean, you sit here in front of an audience, and you're supposed to ad-lib, or I guess you got prepared material, for a couple of hours, and they pay big money, and they expect to be entertained. One-man show. And yet, it's in Australia, who cares? So they asked me to do some stuff from a book I wrote. I went down there, I think it was in Perth, which is on the other side of the west side of Australia. And I did a thing, and it was said, they asked me to do some more cities in Australia, and I kind of toured half a dozen. I toured all the cities in Australia, all three of them. And it was fine. And then Canada said, would I tour Canada, all the major cities in Canada? So I toured all three of those. No, there's Vancouver and Calgary, and then we worked our way east, and finally ended up in Toronto. And I'm doing Toronto, the one-man show with a guy beside me, answering questions. And somebody gets a hold of me backstage and says, I'm a producer from New York, and I'd like you to go to do it on Broadway. Broadway. Open up in a one-man show. So I rewrote the show, and I restaged it without somebody else, and I used a chair, a mobile chair, and it became a motorcycle, it became a horse, and it became a car, and it was wild, and it was very successful, and it got great reviews, and I ran the length of time I'm supposed to run, and then I toured the States, many cities in the States. But the opening on Broadway was one of the most, people say, what do you like best in a long career? And I think they don't know that one-man show encompassed everything that actors face in a lifetime of entertainment. So from Toronto, I rewrote the show, and now I'm going to open on Broadway. I think the syntax was wrong. I'm going to open on Broadway then. Yeah. So your applause is like history. So I'm going to open on Broadway, and no time for anything but one performance in the theater that I was in to kind of adjust this new show. And then tomorrow I'm opening on Broadway in front of 1,500 with all the critics and all the approbation or not of the New York audience. Toughest audience in the world. Tomorrow. I'm going to go tomorrow to open a one-man show. I better eat very carefully. Eat very carefully tonight. I want to be at my best tomorrow. I want to be filled with energy. I want to sleep well. I want to arise tomorrow late because it's in the evening. I want to be at my powerful best on Broadway. So that night, my wife and a friend of mine, we go out and eat. They have, I don't remember what they had, but I ate very carefully. I think it was fish, vegetable, very carefully. Went to sleep. The next morning, I am so sick. I have food poisoning beyond belief. I am emitting things from inside my body, out of my nose, out of my ears, and every other orifice that emits things. They get Dr. Oz, whom I have known briefly and been on the show a few times. We hit it off. Dr. Oz and another guy from CBS, a well-known doctor, comes to take care of. Oh, you better go to the hospital. You need fluids. You got failure. Doctor, I open on Broadway tonight, and I can't stand up. He says, well, get the fluids, get the thing. And finally, I get to the theater that night. I'm able to walk. I'm able to talk, and I come on stage, and I get applause, and I start my show, and I'm doing the show, and I suddenly feel the urge. Which during the day I go to the toilet, I just hug the porcelain throne, whatever it is. I feel the urge. I have to go. So, excuse me folks, there's been a technical problem, and we'll be right back. And I run up to the dressing room, and I go, I'm taking a shower, and I go, oh my Lord, I got this. No, it was horrible. I need not describe to you how horrible it was. You can only imagine, and it doesn't even half how horrible it was because I'm on a Broadway opening. It isn't just, oh, excuse me, dear, I gotta go. It's, I got a technical thing. I come back on stage and I finish the show, and nowadays on New York, when you open on Broadway, it used to be that there were 7 newspapers some years ago. There'd be 7 opinions about whether the show was any good, and if they had bad notices, you close that night. You open, you spend a month getting the show ready. The writers spend a year, several years writing the play. The director planned it for a year. The enormous amount of money and time a show opens, terrible show, closed. The World of Susie Wong was my first Broadway show. No, you didn't see it. Not like, did you not see it? You weren't born, okay? 7 terrible noses. Should have closed that night. 7. The worst show I've ever seen, World of Susie Wong. I believe, on a Broadway play. The worst play's ever been on Broadway. But the producers had 6 months or 4 months of advance. It was so, the anticipation was so large that they had this huge amount of money to run. So they had to run the show. For 3 months, we ran that show and used up the advance. But while it was happening, and people were like walking out, one day I said, sit down! Susie Wong, sit down. And the person over there thought I was talking to them, so they sat back down. Oh, well, that worked. So as I went along, I said, sit down, Susie. And then I began to talk more animation and faster. And finally, it took 15 minutes out of the running time of Susie Wong, turned what was a turgid tragedy into a comedy, and it ran for 2 years. So it can be done. So here I am with a one-man show. Excuse me, folks, I gotta leave. I come back and I finish the show, and it got great notice. It ran, and I toured with it, and I filmed it. I filmed it a matinee and evening performance. So I kept that film until now. Go to the table, WilliamShatner.com. It's electronically available. You'll have a great time. In addition to what's at the table, is a novel that I'm going to participate in, write in, about you and me, about the experiences of you with Star Trek and me and Star Trek, and it'll be about the love affair that I've had with the Star Trek audience and the love affair that the Star Trek audience has had with me. So that's available. That's going to happen. You'll get the particulars at the table. And that's all I wanted to sell you. Now, coming here. So, this town is the font of technical advance in America. This is like the place people go to find what science is doing. The advances in science from this city is, as you all know, is incredible. This is the magic place where the future of AI and medicine and philosophy, this is the place. And I say that because a couple of months ago, I was invited to go to the South Pole on a small luxury liner. They hired me to talk like we're talking today about stuff I don't know about. Because when I went to write, they asked me to write a novel all these years ago about Star Trek. Hey, I don't remember anything about Star Trek. So I interviewed all the cast. What do you remember? You know, George, what do you, what do you remember? And they would tell me stories. They would go, oh yeah, I remember that. And I began to write down what they reminded me of. So, I'm going to the South Pole, and I know that Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to be on the same ship, doing the same thing, talking to people. Yeah. Let's applaud Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's not here. That's enough. Okay. So, I mean, he's not here. We'd have prolonged applause, but he's not here. He's a ghost. He's mystical. He doesn't exist. He's a projection. So I get on stage with Neil deGrasse Tyson, and we're talking like I'm talking to you, except he knows everything, and I know nothing. So I'm like the barbarian at the gate, and we get into arguments because science is so changeable. I mean, we're finding out things today, yesterday, tomorrow, that we always took for granted. Like the Big Bang Theory. Oh yeah, it may not have happened. New discoveries. Tectonic plates 100 years ago. Guys said, you know, tectonic, you would have thought people of course the mountains are rising up. The ball of iron. The magnetic north is moving someplace. I think the magnetic north is going south. It's changing. The tilt of the planet is changing. Everything is in flux. Everything, the rule of the universe is everything changes. So I got into an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know. I just say, Neil, everything changes. The speed of light. Like it's 179,000 miles per second. Does anybody know the exact speed of light? Out loud.
186,000.
12 million miles a minute. What is it a second? 12 million miles a second. Okay, so the speed of light. So we now, for example, know that there is a galaxy 13.8 billion light years away. So it's taken 13.8 billion light years for the light, the particle of that light from that galaxy to reach my retina. Where is it now? Where is that galaxy now? That's 13.8 billion light years gone. It's gone somewhere. Where is it? Nobody knows. Nobody knows where that galaxy is. Nobody knows where anything is because it's taken. So I said to him, to Neil,